Hi everyone, and welcome to the Remain Indoors podcast, where we fail to look at any news from around the internet. Definitely have a grumble when required, and we talk about the ways we're keeping ourselves entertained at home. Remain indoors. Hi, I'm your host, Richard Spanners Ready. We're going to be here for the next 40 minutes or so, talking about life, the small stuff, no topic too small for the Remain Indoors podcast. I'm also joined by my co-host, Matt Two Rumpets. How's it going, Matt?
It's remarkable. I had an actual rehearsal with other human beings yesterday for the first time in forever.
You had to go to work?
Yeah, I did. And it was both awesome and terrible at the same time.
Did you remember how to leave the house? Did you remember how to take a bus?
Funny you should ask that. I actually drove. But do you know this navigation app Waze? Is that a thing over there?
Yeah, it's been bought by Google Maps. But basically, yeah, it's a map service. It's an app. It kind of gives you journey times, tracks other people's car sat navs and stuff, and tries to give you accurate traffic descriptions and things.
Yeah, it's like a social app. So as users put in traffic information, you get sort of immediate real-time notifications. And it
Well, Tim, you're coughing and spluttering in the background.
Sorry, right, okay, sorry. That's my fault, and I'll tell you why, because I thought you muted the mic, sorry.
No, you need to mute your own mic. Anyway, Waze.
Anyway, so Waze has a nice feature. You can say, and we are off to a professional start here. Again, Waze, you can put in the time that you want to be at the place. And then what it will do is it will tell you when you need to leave. This is a very handy feature. So I had my rehearsal yesterday and I put in my time and it said, please leave at X time. I'm like, great, I'm going to go practice and put my gear together. And X time comes and I roll into the car and I'm sitting there at my first traffic light and I look at the time and I realize that somehow, despite leaving exactly when Waze told me, I've left after when I planned to be there at rehearsal to be on time. And so like I'm sitting there and it's 12:40, it's like 12:35 and I planned to be there at 12:30. And only then did it dawn on me that perhaps I had put the wrong time into Waze and therefore I was going to be significantly late to said rehearsal. I was just like, well.
Wait a minute, how late were you? How late were you in the end?
30 minutes.
That is not even slightly late for a musician. But look, we have to, in the broadcasting world, stick to strict timings. Audio discipline is everything. The microphone is a canvas on which you paint and nothing can sully that. And the biggest wordsmith in the industry, YouTube star, currently coughing and spluttering in the background and eating crisps, is Tim Linden. Hello, Tim. Tim, you're the worst. You're eating crisps on my live stream.
We're sponsored by Pop Chips today.
We're not sponsored
Sorry
by...
about that. I have to admit that last time we did this, I could have sworn you said you muted the mics when I wasn't on it. So
no.
But now I know. Oh, what? It's a shame, actually, because I was going to eat these crisps during when you two were talking, but I'm not now. Anyway, hello. You all right?
I'm glad to have you here. And the best thing about having you on our roster of available guests is that you're always available. That's a real good feature of you, Tim.
Well, that's not strictly true. It is true this week because you've caught me on a very easy week for me.
Really? Are you having a holiday week?
No, I was actually doing some freelance work this morning. I also done a couple of radio stations, but literally lunchtime. Hence why I'm eating these.
It's not lunchtime, it's 2 p.m. But let's talk about
my lunch.
Some of your great success, because when you were on here last time, you had just started a YouTube channel called Walk With Me, Tim, which was a channel where you invite people called Tim to go for walks with you around your local area. Walk with me, Tim. That's the name of the channel.
You still mock me now.
Yes.
I'll come back when I've got over 100,000 subscribers and say, do you want to keep mocking me, little boy, on your little gardening show?
It's a great gardening show. Great outdoors, 10 a.m, BBC Radio Cambridgeshire Sundays.
Okay.
Let's call that.
Snooze fest. But anyway, literally what we're saying is the fact that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gained the 5 subscribers that I did in the beginning. Thanks for coming on this show.
So you got it rolling, but you're also, that is damning me with faint praise, saying that I only earned you 5 subscribers.
Well, of course I can't. As you know, our relationship is a bit rocky, so I can't give you full credit for it, obviously.
Yeah, it's sort of like a weird codependent drug. It's like, I don't know why I keep inviting you back on. I'm genuinely praising your channel, and I watched a video on mute, obviously, but some of the video work is amazing. You've got a drone.
What did you watch on mute?
Chroma.
Why'd you watch it on mute?
Because of your voice.
You watched the Chroma on, did you?
Yeah, because of your voice. But then you had some drone footage where you were standing on the edge of a cliff, and basically, like the drone.
Sitting?
Yeah, you were sitting there, but the drone comes out and it makes it look like you're really near the cliff. And I was just yelling, "Don't jump! Don't jump!" But yeah, the drone is a good addition. I loved it.
Yeah, as always, Spanners likes to over exaggerate. There I am on the cliff, and I'm sitting down.
For the audio,
and can I just say, right?
For the audio only listeners, the video is proving my point.
You are?
Yeah, look, he's really close. He looks like he's going to jump.
But I didn't.
But anyway, I was complimenting it. It looks really cool. That's your drone. Are you the drone pilot?
Yes, I am a drone pilot. I have a PCFO license as well. So I'm all above board. And I had to do a course, which costs a lot of money and 2 days of exam stuff. But obviously anyone can use a drone. They have to get a very basic license, which I think is 20 quid from the Civil Aviation Authority. But I do it for commercial work as well. So hence why I had to pay for their drone.
See, we Matt, you might not know this, but we were in talks with a drone pilot for our next karting event, which obviously has taken a bit of a bump in the schedule due to.
Funny, I never got a call.
Well, I didn't know you were interested in racing cars. Oh, as our drone pilot, can I hire you? Then I'd be your boss for the day, and I'd be like, "This isn't good enough, Lyndon. This isn't what we contracted for." Yes, can I do that? Can I hire you?
Plus, I have the latest, newest model drone out, which is amazing. It's the Mavic Air 2 by DJI, and they have not sponsored me to say this.
Tell me about it. Is it it's a big proper drone, is it?
In fact, hang on.
Is it here? Brilliant.
His drone is bigger than yours, I'm afraid.
I've only got one of those little mini drones.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Me and the boy have really enjoyed that. We
wander down a path here, but I'm not. I'm not wandering down this path.
He said drone, not male appendage. Okay, so as he takes off his earphones to look under his bed for his drone.
Yeah, it's still in the box. I like to keep it in the box. People say you're a weirdo, but I do like to keep it in the box. This is a very good drone. Very good drone. I like it a lot.
Good.
It does some really great footage.
They're not cheap, are they?
No, they're not. It's about cost me £900 and something pound, but I also wanted to get it as soon as it came out as well.
It's
good. You get some amazing footage. And the best thing about this drone as well is, unlike other drones and smaller drones, is that it never loses connection because it connects differently compared to other drones. So you can't get any flyaways, touch wood. And so it makes it more safer, because there's nothing worse, right? If you're a drone pilot or using a drone, you have it in the distance and then you lose connection. And it feels really weird because you don't know where it is. If it lands on someone, you could get sued.
Yeah, I imagine. Do you have to have insurance? Do you have to have insurance for that? And one, how much work really is there? I mean, have you even paid for half of what you spent on it yet?
Yes, I've had a lot of work. I do a lot of, where I live, there's a lot of holiday parks. And I've had a lot of work using drone footage in doing some of their videos with the beach and where they are located and all that kind of stuff, because everything looks good from the air. So I've actually made my money back, thankfully.
Well, hopefully this will make Spanners feel better. The chat room, Daniel Ellis is saying it's not the size of the drone that matters. It's the motion of the rotors. I'm not sure what that means, but.
Neither do I. What does he mean? What do you mean, Daniel? I don't get what you mean. Well, they all need manual. They all need motion of motors in order to go in the air.
So have you ever actually, I mean, you say you've lost, have you ever had an incident where your drone has landed in a difficult, like when I was a kid, when you hit the ball into the neighbor's yard, the crotchety old neighbor's yard, which would be me now in real life, and then someone had to be brave enough to go retrieve it and hope they didn't get yelled at and caught. Has something like that ever happened to your drone?
Actually, when I was filming last summer for a holiday park up on the Norfolk coast, I ran out of battery and I didn't have enough battery to get back home, even though it says return to home because it works out how much battery you have and where you are located, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, no, I still need to get this shot. And I obviously didn't. And it just kept saying landing, because there's always a very nice American lady that talks to you on the drone. She goes, landing. And you're like over the water. That. And that's when you have to run, because obviously your drone will land in that water or wherever it's going to go, and you've got to run. There's a bit of footage of me actually legging it. And you've probably seen it on YouTube. It's actually really hilarious. If you type in epic drone fails,
yes,
where you'll see people running into water knee high with all their clothes on because they've got to save their drone, because these drones cost a lot of money.
So yeah, I'm assuming epic drone fail is this year's Russian dash cams. Tell me you've seen Russian dash cams.
No, I haven't. Is that with accidents and stuff like that? Because I think I've seen those before.
Oh, it is one of the most hilarious Twitter follows you can make. They just tweet videos of, well, insane driving from Russians, basically.
Yeah,
right. I'll have to check that out.
There was a sudden, spate of those videos, because I guess in Russia, loads of people were like deliberately braking in front of you and then claiming on your insurance. So like dash cams became a thing. And I had a dash cam for a little while, but it kept falling off, so I abandoned it. But in the time I had it, it must be like a magnet for disasters. I've never been like run off the road by a truck before. A truck just randomly went to go into the overtaking lane that I was in, and I had to like go into the central reservation. But I've got it gloriously on webcam footage. So
who needs a dash cam? Just get a Tesla and you're away. It's all right. It's fine.
I've got a Peugeot 208 and it's the best car ever made, so I'll just stick with that. It's brilliant. Yeah, I might upgrade though, Tim, because I've got 618 patrons on Patreon at the moment.
Have you really? I was going to talk to you about this. You've got 618 Patreons.
Yeah, so I could probably afford a Tesla. Wow. How many have you got?
Well, listen, what I was going to say about this, right, is that I couldn't find you on Patreon.
Yeah.
I don't think, or I'm trying to search for you. Is your first starting tier £1?
No, patreon.com/missedapex. We have some fine patrons on there. Oh, it starts at $1.99. $1.99.
Okay, that's pretty good. Well, let's put it like this, right? So I've got 5,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And I've done this in 2 months.
It is really good.
In 2 months.
And your last video has got 22,000 views on it, which is epic.
Yeah. In fact, I'm really quite surprised, because most video gets above 10,000 views. And yeah, I put a video up on Friday. It's already had 22,000. I mentioned my Patreon details in the video, right? And bearing in mind, one of my most popular videos, I think, is almost at 80,000. So in all, I've had 265,000 views, and I've mentioned my Patreon every time, and I've got 4.
Ooh, that hurts. You'll have to rely on that.
But I tell you what I do have though. I do have PayPal tips, and every now and again, I get a nice little tip come in. Like it was just yesterday, I had a nice £25 tip from someone who really appreciates the videos. The thing is as you know, Patreon, people might go, "Oh, you're begging for money," but we're all living in a different world, and if you're creating content that people enjoy, I personally don't think there's any harm in, you're not taking the mick, but you're just saying, look, if you enjoy the content that I'm making, I'd really appreciate it. There's no one forcing you to do it, but if you'd like to sign up.
You say it's not begging, but like Matt, we've mixed it up with our approaches to Patreon, and like one time I literally went, "Oh, please go on, I'll be your mate. Oh, go on, you want to." So yeah, I think we do occasionally resort to begging.
Oh well, absolutely. We are not proud. We are
exactly
mildly desperate in these times. Let's admit it. We're mildly desperate. There is no such thing as ad revenue anymore.
Yeah,
and so if we don't have subscribers, our entire, well, I don't know, can you call it a model if you didn't really plan it in advance? Structure that has evolved organically.
Yeah.
Why do you say there's no ad revenue anymore?
Well,
I'm getting ad revenue
for YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So YouTube seems to have been affected less, but the podcast industry seems to have taken a bit of a hit. I guess it's the type of sponsors. So, for example, like we got sponsors, paid spots for a restaurant, that restaurant isn't going to be spending money on advertising while it's shut. So it's kind of like stuff like that. I think our ad revenue went down by about 85%. So like nearly all of it. So at that point, I wasn't too proud to say, please sign up to Patreon so that we can like not have to go and get grown-up jobs. But yeah, it's very much that model of somebody is juggling in the street, isn't it? And you go, oh, this is look at this, kids, look, it's a juggler. Then they pass the hat around and you go, oh, hang on a minute, I never meant to. I didn't mean to sit and come and pay. So I completely get that mentality. But then I always say, well, if you then go back the next day knowing the juggler's there, maybe you want to chuck a quid in. But yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there, Tim, you plucky upstart.
Yeah, I know. But it's like, if you think about it, it's a numbers game. But like you say, I said this to my wife the other night. I said, right, imagine if I was doing these videos and I was getting a few hundred views. You'd be like, oh, imagine if I was getting tens of thousands of views. You'd probably get like you would like to think 1% of that.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And then when you don't, you're like, what? And the thing is that there's, I've looked at other people that are doing very similar to what I'm doing on YouTube, but I do it better. And they've got all Patreons. And I think just generally on YouTube, people don't do Patreon too much. It's a shame. No. And also, I don't know if you know, well, you'll probably know this, but Patreon are changing. I think it's July the 1st. They're putting tax on it, and your patrons have to pay tax now. And I think that's going to scare a lot of people off, because they're going to get a notification going, you spend this much a month, and now you're going to have to spend this much to pay tax. You're going to lose so many patrons from it, aren't you?
Oh, well, back to the old trucks it is then. Back to the trucks it is, or back to audio
books. Back to BBC Radio Cambridge here. No, gardening with spanners. Have you got a pansy? I've got a pansy. It's not growing. I'm going to put some water on it. See you next week.
I mean, that is the show notes for this week's show. Look, I know nothing about gardening. You've openly
You should get me on. I know a little bit more about gardening. For example, I decided to redo my garden, right? And I wanted some really good summer flowers. Yeah?
Yeah, I know all about this. You're telling me I'm the gardening host at BBC.
Okay, Radio. What's a big summer flower that blooms every summer here in the UK that people love?
Sunflower.
Really?
Marigold.
No.
Cosmos. I'm exhausted my knowledge of flowers now. Daisy?
You really make me want to tune in. When is it? Sundays?
Sunday, 10 a.m. Watch a guy who doesn't know anything about gardening do a gardening show on the BBC.
Somebody just put dandelion. That's a weed.
2 people did dandelion. Hey, a weed is just a flower that you don't want. You don't get to label that flower. It's very true.
I have to say, if you go, oh my God, I can't believe we're talking about gardening, but you talk about this on your show. Some people, there you go. In fact, I'm creating content for you this week. Say some people's weeds are other people's great, lovely little flowers.
Yep.
In their garden.
Yep. That's right. So you tune in. So you're mocking me, but at least some people are listening to me. No, you've got...
Excuse me. I'm also on 3 other digital radio stations.
Now, I wanted to ask about those digital radio stations because
I also covered on Capital last week, In Your Face.
Did you? Tell us about that. Tell us, how did it go? How did it come about?
How did it go? Because I know some people in the radio industry, because I used to work in the radio industry. Someone was off, couldn't get any staff, and they called me up and would I do it? And I did it from home.
Oh, you did it from home? And these digital radio stations... I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about it, but I was really fascinated with the way that it all gets put together. They kind of like have an app. You have to put in exactly the right amount of they need 25 seconds of speech here, and it goes in between an ad and a song.
No. You just have little markers of where you can record, and you record in it, and then literally, just like you do on your show, you just adjust the gap time at the end of the hour.
But it's not live, is it? It's like...
No, but it can be literally like live. Like I can record something now for a radio station I do in Liverpool, and it will go out. For example, if I'm in the log, it's 2:30 now. If I wanted to do something at 2:32, I've got about 2 minutes before it uploads properly. So you've probably got 2 minutes, so you can do it as live, yeah.
That's fascinating. Hey, I want to say, because had this lined up before I knew you were coming to join us, Tim. But the other audio thing that I've been doing to generate revenue as a job is audiobooks. So I've just signed a new audiobook contract, which, people here who've been listening for a while, do you remember, Matt, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was saying, like, I was considering dusting off my truck license and going and just doing those shifts and picking up the whatever it is. It's about maybe like 14 to 15 quid an hour, I think, to drive those Arctics. Well, this audiobook, I worked out the hourly rate. It's actually a little bit more than that. So what I found is an equivalent to truck driving that doesn't actively endanger the public. So that's what I found. So this audiobook contract is keeping me off the trucks.
Well, that's probably a good thing for both you and the general public on the roads in Britain there. Because you did have some entertaining and fun stories about your early misadventures as you were just mastering the craft of piloting large vehicles poorly on roads.
I would definitely say I never fully got round to mastering it, but the roads are safe for now because this new gear that we invested in has just made the audio kind of voiceover stuff sing. It's made it much more sellable. So starting to pick up voiceover work and audiobooks. But the big news is that my 8-year-old daughter auditioned for a couple of audiobooks, got accepted for a little royalty share deal for a 20-minute book, has recorded it, and now, so she is a professional narrator as far as her friends are concerned. I thought that was pretty cool. So we spent all of yesterday afternoon sat here recording her little book.
You've got to love child labour, ain't you?
Yeah, it is a bit like that. And so I said to her before I clicked accept on the contract, really getting across to her, like, this
You'll get more pocket money.
Yeah. This is an actual job, and we have to sit down, we have to concentrate, and it's going to be hard work. And it is difficult when you don't say it right. It can get frustrating. She had to say the word sympathetically, and that took about a day to get that one word right. But, she stuck at it, and she was really good, really excited. And she was just so chuffed that she'd been hired. So she was doing auditions pre-COVID. So she was doing auditions for like TV and movie stuff. And when you were saying about the money, she had 4 sets of auditions. She got a call back every time, but didn't get hired for any of them. But on one of the auditions, they paid her fees. So they handed her an envelope at the end of the audition process and said, okay, we'll let you know. And she opened it up and it's got 50 quid inside it. And she absolutely lost it. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, hang on a minute, we've had 4 or 5 trips to London lately. That 50 quid will cover it. And she was just like, no, I earned this. And we couldn't get it off her. So she's got it. She's sitting there with 50, hoarding it like Smog off of Hobbit.
And you've got to remember, at 8 years old, 50 quid is like winning the lottery, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Think about how many sweets you can buy with that.
She's really kind of jealously guarded that, taken photos with it, sent it to all of the relatives. But she never actually got, signed up. We were very new to the audition process. And I definitely personally cost her one of the jobs, Tim, by, I think they look at the parents as much as the kids and they go, can we work with this family? And I think there was definitely one occasion where she would just say I misjudged how I carried myself in the waiting room. And I think that probably cost her. So she was delighted to actually have just got the job. She was like, I got hired. I got the part.
That's cool. I didn't know you can get that hired from audiobooks. There's something to look into then for freelance work.
Yeah, but you have to have a good reading voice. I know you've got a good voice, but you've got a good voice for like commercial radio. It's like, hi, hey everyone. That's not a storytelling voice, is it? That's like wake you up in the morning and get to work.
No, that's why I've got 5,000 subscribers on a channel where I do commentary.
Well, yeah, there's that kind of
10 and tens of thousands of views.
So you'd be good on you'd be good on a travel show. You'd be good on a travel show. It's like,
I'd love to do a travel show. Well, I am kind of doing travel shows. Look at me as the new. Who was that? Who was that woman who did travel shows? Wish You Were Here. Are we all old enough for that?
Yeah.
Gloria Hunt. No, it's not. I can't remember. Judith Chalmers. That was it. Maybe I could be like her.
Yeah. See, that's
more camp.
There we go. You've got an energetic voice for that kind of thing. I don't get that feeling like I want to go round the storytelling tree with Uncle Tim. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Matt, you should do audiobooks. You've definitely got a voice for that kind of thing.
You think so?
Yeah.
I never really pictured myself having that kind of voice, but
I think you should just read one of your wife's romantic novels and just see how it goes.
Yeah, well, we have discussed the possibility of it, but yeah, the problem is most of the stuff she's done is as with an actual publisher, and they control the audiobook rights. So whether or not there's an audiobook isn't up to her personally.
Oh, well, we'll have to stick to rubbish YouTube channels for now, Tim. Oh, Tim, talking about YouTube ad revenue, I'll give this away to the listeners. In the on-season, I would say we get about 100,000 views a month on YouTube. I don't know what ads you get, but that weighs in at a astounding $95. And that is the total earnings from our YouTube.
What, a month?
A month, yeah.
Yeah. It is on what one's this? What channel?
The F1 one.
Yeah.
No, not this one.
Yeah. Well, obviously it goes up the more you have. I mean, there's a website called Social Blade. Oh, actually, I shouldn't have told you that because now you're going to know. There's an app called Social Blade, and if you go on there and you type in any YouTuber, you can see exactly how much they earn. But it's not completely accurate. There is like I would say about 6 to 8% difference in the reporting. But yeah, but no, mine's a bit more than that. But that's because I'm getting quite high views. Fingers crossed, keep it going at the moment.
Oh, good. I know. I'm glad. I'm glad that has taken off because honestly, when you were telling me about it, I was like, oh, okay.
Rubbish.
It didn't seem like it had that real kind of takeoff launch potential. But is that quite a big market for people walking around showing off an area?
Well, this is the thing, right? I think it's obviously because of lockdown. It's why it's helped, but I want to keep the people there. But there is a couple of other channels that do very similar to what I've done, but they do it differently. In fact, they don't talk; they just film it, and they've got over 100,000 subscribers, and they get like 90,000 views per video, and all they do is just walk around London and don't say anything. So I think there's always those people that either can't get out or just bored, and just like to. It's a niche, and I was saying to you last time, try and find a niche on YouTube, and you'll be away.
It's so fortunate that you live in such a picturesque, part of the country to be able to do that kind of thing. If I was to do a big dirty news segment, oh, look at that, dirty news! I have got one story. It's from the Mirror. It's from the Mirror.
I just want to hear that voiceover again. Such a storyteller.
News.
That sound like Alan Partridge a little bit. Dirty news.
That's my pitch perfect northern accent. That is my generic go-to northern accent. And in fact, my northern nephew tunes into this show as well. So I can do it. Where is he from? Sheffield.
Dirty.
I don't want to do my Sheffield accent, can I? Oh, it were right pretty. There you go. That's my northern accent. It were right pretty in that video, Tim. There we go. That's my Sheffield accent. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Do that all the time.
That is why I'm an audiobook beginner. There you go. That's what you'd fall down. Give us. You've got a range of voices, Tim.
No, just one.
Just that one. Just that one. No, that's all you've got.
Well, was when you do voiceovers and that you can go pretty slow, deep, sexy.
Really?
That's why I was kind of a little bit hurt when you said you don't think I would be very good in audiobooks. But
Tim, to be clear, I was trying to hurt you. I wanted you to be sad, and it looked like it worked, and I was happy in that moment. But I recently got a voiceover thing sent back for being too sexy. That is legitimately true. They came back with a note that said it sounds too sexy, and what it was I'd with this fancy new gear, I'd stuck an effect on which like gave me an artificially low voice. There you go. I'm trying to recreate it now. So it's trying to sort of give us a kind of a boomier radio sound. And I thought, ooh, this sounds pro. And they sent it back with like, no, we don't like that. It's not appropriate. So
that's hurt my ears a little bit top heavy there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just playing with the levers. This news story, look, if you were near Loch Ness, this could be you with your walk with me, Tim. Loch Ness monster debate sparked after mystery creature photographed by tourists. So, look, have you got any similar mysteries? Have you? Is there a Loch Ness equivalent in Norfolk? Now, I've sent you the link in the chat.
All right. There is a similar thing in East Anglia.
Is
called,
there?
Called black shuck. It's
Never heard of it.
You might laugh. Yeah, no. And you ask anyone around East Anglia, Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire, they'll all have heard stories about a black panther or a big black cat with red eyes. In fact, Google it, black shuck. So that's what. And apparently there is, I think there must be somewhere around the flatlands of East Anglia, some kind of jaguar or panther. They might be living around here. You never know. Why wouldn't they be?
So I'd love to know if their pictures are any good. I don't know if you can see that link, Matt, but this picture is clearly of a fish.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now. I was just going to chuck in that we actually have coyotes here, like for reals.
Okay, but that's not like a mystery. That's not a mythical creature. That is just coyotes.
Yeah, that's a fish.
They're nasty, aren't they, coyotes? Do they bite you?
They can occasionally be aggressive. Yeah. They you don't want to get close and pet them. Although there's this guy on Twitter who's told several hilarious stories. He has poor vision. About mistaking other animals for cats. Have you seen these? I believe I must have retweeted one of these to you. Basically, he goes into the backyard and he's gotten himself a hammock and he's there with his drink and he sees the cat and he pets the cat and the cat climbs up in between his legs in his lap and then he discovers it's a raccoon. and then he desperately does the dance to try to get out of the hammock without being shredded, by the raccoon because they are wild creatures that sometimes carry rabies, and basically ends up flat on his rear end. And the raccoon is just there in the hammock going, oh, this is my new reality. Thank you.
Matt, you've got in the notes, can't pee without cats. I guess this is somewhat related. What's that about?
Well, all right. So you're a dude. I'm a dude. I presume Tim is a dude here. I don't want to make assumptions because he hasn't shared his pronouns like you have, but whatever. So, when you go to the toilet, there can be an aspect of performance anxiety when the stalls are full. Yes. This is not an unusual thing for dudes.
Yeah.
And it's all about comfort. If I feel comfortable, then bang. If I feel like, then sometimes you have to sort of, and the older you get, well, that's a whole separate story. Anyway, my point being that our bathroom is arranged so that there's a tub and then the toilet's right next to the tub, and it's maybe about a meter just to walk in. So it's not super wide. Yeah, a little bit wider than my shoulders. Plus there's a trash can. So it's a very narrow aisle to get to the toilet. And both of my cats now live in that area whenever I need to go to the bathroom.
No.
And psychologically, I've gotten so used to it that when I go in there now without them, I actually feel uncomfortable.
So you're like, oh, it's pee time. Where are those cats?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a reverse situation. But anyway, they also make it impossible because they like to fetch up right before the bowl. So it's almost impossible to get a good angle on the bowl proper because of how they place themselves.
I don't. By the way, Callum's saying Matt has urinals in his home toilet. I don't think that is what you were saying. You haven't got a stand-up urinal in your home.
No, I don't. I don't. I was starting out with everybody can relate to or most people can relate to oh yeah, it's crowded or there's no stalls and I gotta pee and it's like.
Do you know what though? This is actually a really interesting debate. Why do we not have them in our homes? We have toilets
because they're disgusting.
Yeah, but they're easy, aren't they, for blokes?
Yeah. No, I would.
It's like some people have bidets. I don't know, Matt, if you know what a bidet is.
Yeah, I do. You pronounce it like the shortening of birthday
bidet
in the United States, but I knew what you meant after a second of thought.
Yeah. So it's like people have bidets. So why can't we have a urinal shoved in the corner for us blokes when we need to wee? So you're right.
Tom Wheatley in the chat, Tom Wheatley in our chat says they stink. And I think so, because basically what you've got is a wall of pee. If you've got a bathroom toilet, normally you flush it, all the sins are cleansed, aren't they? With the urinal, you've just got a wall
They
of
do
pee.
flush, though. It depends where you go, because some have these like little smelly things in them, and they do flush, and they look good.
Yeah.
Not that I want one in my house. Not that I want one in my house, because it would look horrible. But it's weird, isn't it? What is that noise?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've always thought that was a better answer because there's less splashing and cleaning involved. And aim isn't really an issue.
It's very good. Yeah. But like you say, it just doesn't look cosmetically nice. I mean, you can't get one of those fluffy things to put around it like you could do on a toilet.
No, this is true. And you can't close the lid either.
Maybe maybe someone out there needs to invent one where they do have them in the corner, but they've got little lids on them, and then you can put them in your home.
Or like a Murphy bed. It just like folds away, and then you can just fold it out and use it if you don't.
You should be able to press a button, and it should spin into the wall.
Yes, exactly.
And then it disappears.
Genius.
It's like an Austin Powers moment.
Let's patent that. Quick.
Why don't we just go in the corner, Tim? You're like an animal. Like, just go in the corner.
Who pees in the corner? Is that
know.
what you do in your household?
I just felt like that's the way you're going. That was the way you were going. You want a urinal in your bathroom. So how many cats have you got, Matt?
Just the two.
How about you, Tim? Are you catted up?
I have a cat called Smidge. One cat.
His name is Smidge One Cat.
One cat.
All right, you've got one cat. You treat it like a dog.
Yeah. Yes. In other words, I weren't a cat person. I was always a dog person. Careful where you go with that. And I had a cat, and obviously I couldn't compute that a cat is not the same as a dog. So, with a dog, you like to give it lots of attention and love, and cats, well, they'll kill you after a while, won't they? And my cats, and I'm sure most cats are, they're bipolar. 1 minute, like literally a second, they'll be loving you, and then they'll kill you. And then the next, they'll kill you, then they'll love you again. It's like, what's wrong with them?
We're having problems with our cat at the moment. This is Cat Corner, cat therapy. Gather in, everybody. Tell us about your cat problems. Right, our fluffy cat that we take for walks, we think is cat cheating on us.
Hang on, hold the phone.
Yeah.
You take your cat for a walk? You
don't follow my Twitter account. I'm hurt. Okay. Yes, I posted a video. Yes, we take our cats on specifically now. It started off that he would follow us and it would be annoying and we'd have to go and put him back. But because he follows us so often, we now actually go, should we go for a bike ride or shall we walk Loki? And there's your cat on a lead. You actually got a lead for your cat.
I've never actually took him for a walk, but what I have done is, because he's a house cat, I let him go out in the garden. And he gets a little bit scared after a while, but there you go. He's so lovely on his little harness.
Tom, you're a genius. The live chat have just said my chat room, my YouTube channel will be Walk With Me, Spanner's Cat, a YouTube channel in which I get my cat to walk with me. I should do that. But yeah, he doesn't go on a lead or anything. He's just completely just follows us around. And on the way out, we'll walk out about 10 minutes out and he'll follow us and dart in and out and he'll stay about 5 meters behind us. On the way home, he leads us. And if we stop, he'll go, meow, come on, we're going home. So yes, we walk our cats and that's just part of our life now. But he cat cheats on us and he goes and eats food somewhere else in the evenings.
He cat cheats on you.
He cat cheats on us. He's got another family, we think, that feeds him very early in the morning. So, or late at night or something like that. He's never around in the morning. So we've started locking him in at night to go, right, so you'll have breakfast with us and then we kick you out. He then spends the whole of the night, every time it occurs to him, like, I've got to go out and have my affair with my other owners. He then meows and wakes us up and like jabs us in the face.
I think you're either a cat person or you're not a cat person. And I went from being a dog person to a cat person, which not a lot of people do. Or you probably have both, and then that's just a weird place to be.
No, I've not had both. I've had a dog and I've had cats, but I've never had them both at the same time. That seems just, well, I don't know. I don't know that the universe could tolerate that level of disorder.
Good. Well, you didn't help me at all. I was hoping you would all come up with like solutions of like, what you need to do is line your cat tree with junipers and then...
No matter what you do, your cat will always go where there's food. If you're not giving him food, it'll go where there's food.
Yeah, there we go.
You think they love you, but they don't. They just use you for sleep, warmth, food.
No, the other cat loves us. Black cat loves us. He hangs out with me in my shed. How dare you?
I keep telling that to myself, but I know it's not true.
Cats will do what cats will do.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a funny cat story-ish. The wife and the daughter left early yesterday, and then I left. But I went for my run before I went to rehearsal. So I got back from my run, and one of our cats gave me a severe talking to about having been left alone. because we've all been at home for like months now. The cats have had us as constant company. And she followed me around for 10 minutes yelling at me, like, I don't really appreciate this at all. And I said, I feel really sorry because I'm about to leave the house for hours now to go to this rehearsal. And when we got home, because I picked up my wife and daughter and drove them home, because we were all in Jersey, which, and the cat was, severely distressed that we had all left her alone in the house, even though that was normal like 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, they're going to have like separation anxiety, aren't they? Look, as terrible as cats are, I want to just talk about my terrible, terrible daughter. I feel like I painted her in too positive a light earlier. So let's get back to the ways that they've been making our lives hell. Tim, you've copied me with children as well, haven't you? You've got similarly aged children, I'm sure. I've got a 10 and an 8-year-old.
Yeah, because on the night of when it was made, I phoned you up and said, "What are you doing?"
I was like making a baby.
I'm gonna do the same.
Oh, me too then. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, teenage. No, I don't know if they're the same age. 15?
Oh God. Oh, how old are you? Hang on, let's zoom in on Tim. Oh yeah, no, sorry, you're significantly older than me. Forgetting that. And look at Matt as well.
No. We've had this conversation before. I'm probably about a year older.
That doesn't look right, does it? That doesn't seem likely. I'll put it side by side there. That's just, it's not true. Stop those lies. So, Matt, what were you going to say? Before Tim was lying?
15, that's my daughter's age, too.
So you've got a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So, so homeschooling for you is a little bit different because they're a bit more self-sufficient than Tim.
Yes, but they still ask questions that I have no idea the answers. And I keep saying, Google it. But there are the questions they're asking. I have I wouldn't even know if I was at school right now. I feel bad. But then you think to yourself, why do you really need to know that? It's like, I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Do it.
Here in the UK, my daughter is doing her GCSEs, right? Excuse me. And she's doing German. She's doing German GCSE.
Entschuldigung bitte. Wo ist das Nebenkrankenhausen? Yeah, I do that.
It's heißer. Yeah, and the thing is like, right, well, okay, why? I mean, this is so outdated. I mean, like, Spanish is the second biggest language in the world, isn't it? I would have thought. Not German. I mean, how many other countries? I think we've had this conversation before, but how many countries do they speak German in? Probably maybe one, maybe two. I don't know. How many countries do they speak Spanish in? Exactly, but they don't. They always push German. Why? Why?
German and French is what they push.
Because they're closest to us. That if we're going to move there. It's so outdated, don't you think?
It's for your holidays. I think it's from the olden days. Yeah, I think it's from the olden days where you wouldn't like jet off everywhere. You would do, I've got to do our booze cruise, duty-free booze cruise, where they'd go nip across to Calais and come back with a boot full of alcohol. That's what everyone used to do. And it used to be like a big thing. Oh, you can get cheap booze going across to France and coming back. So I think lots more people used to take holidays in Germany and France. So that's why they learnt it. Whereas now, obviously, you can just jet off to wherever.
I know, but the thing is, that hasn't been like that for 20 years?
Yeah, but I'm saying where it's come from. Every school trip was just some crap town in France, wasn't it? Oh, we're going to go to a school trip to
Boulogne.
Yeah.
It'd be Boulogne.
Pretty much the same as Brighton, but it's in France.
Yeah, if anyone else agrees with this, I would. You see, I'm gutted because I'd have loved to have learned Spanish. I know a fair bit of Spanish now, but I didn't learn anything in school. And I remember speaking to the teacher and saying, I don't care about French or German. I'm never going to need to have that language, but you're pushing it in my face for my GCSE. I want to learn Spanish. We don't have a Spanish teacher.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Learning German and French, I always hated it. And I think I got a D in GCSE German. I think that was my only non-pass.
Well, you did better than I don't even get that. I don't think.
What
in
language?
Fact, I remember. What?
I was going to ask Matt. Like in the American system, like you've obviously French and German.
Oh, yeah,
very useless to you. Like, what do you guys learn?
Well, Spanish. I actually wanted to learn Spanish. They offered us languages in elementary school, and I tried to sign up for Spanish, but I didn't get in the class. And then when I got to high school, the only class that worked with my music schedule was German. So I did a couple of years of German. But in the intervening years, I've learned to embarrass myself properly in both French and Italian now. So, I think you're better off just learning whatever language, whatever country you're going to. once you know you're going there. But if you're talking German, the reason to learn it is because German is the economic powerhouse of Europe. So you're more likely to be employed by a German corporation, and or, you know, when the occupation comes, I suppose German might be a useful language.
So Matt, what did you learn when you was at school?
German.
Yeah, but I would say,
Really? They do that in America as well?
Well, they offer, we had French, Italian, German, Spanish, but
yeah, you see, we don't get Italian over here. I don't think I've ever heard of Italian. See, that's what I mean. You think about how small Germany is, and then Italy is, and yeah, you don't even get Italian.
But they didn't really care. They just wanted you to take a foreign language. And I do need to point out that I actually went to school at a time when schools, or at least the schools in my neighborhood, had actual funding and teachers and could have things like that. I mean, it's a much different landscape now for schools, because they're just desperate for, the class sizes are huge, and, they just cut the budgets all the time. So
I've got a new question that I'm going to ask to every single guest at the end of the Remain Indoors podcast, Matt. I don't know if you caught it, but our Prime Minister, he couldn't quite imitate Vladimir Putin when he rode bare-chested on his horse to show how manly he was. That's not how we do things in the UK. Boris Johnson proved his manliness by doing a bunch of press-ups in the press. And this was splashed across the front pages to show how fit our glorious dear leader was doing press-ups. So my question is to you, Tim, how many press-ups could you do right now? Consecutively, at a reasonable pace.
I try and do 20 in the morning and 20 before bed.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You genuinely do that every day?
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and you go, I'm going to do some press-ups now.
Well, not exactly as soon as I get out of bed. I'll probably just get myself awake first. But yeah, I want to try and build up the biceps a little bit.
That's completely the wrong exercise. You're touching your chest and saying biceps. This is
those
lie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me how to find this area here, and I'll do it.
It's your pectorals. Yeah, but you were saying biceps, which made me think that your thing is a lie. That you're lying to us about that. Well, anyway,
I do press up. I do 20.
So you can do 20.
What does doing press ups? What does that work out apart from your arms?
Pecs.
These.
Yeah, but you're not going to gain muscle from doing it. You're not going to build your muscle from doing press ups. You need to do big heavy weights. You need to do, well, with me, probably because my body is a big heavy weight. So it counts as weight training if I do a press up now. But yeah.
And you've got to take your bra off as well when you do it.
Jesus. I am carrying a little bit of coronavirus weight. I don't think that is.
That is a thing, isn't it? Coronavirus weight is a thing. I think we should trademark that.
I am some pounds overweight, but not as many pounds overweight as a few weeks ago. So I've stopped the rot.
At Christmas, it's holiday weight. I've got some holiday weight, and now it's coronavirus weight.
Well, do you know, I'm either doing homeschool or I'm sat in the shed, and we try and get out every day. But yeah, I mean, and then food has become like a focus of your day. It's not like, oh, let's all go to the cinema or let's go to the park. You can't even go to a park. So the focus of the day, as we were chatting with Alice on Thursday, the focus of your day, Matt, is what are we having for dinner? Oh, brilliant. Snacks? Ooh, snacks.
Do you find that your shopping has gone up as well, your shopping bill?
I don't know, actually. I have to think about that. Matt?
It did a bit at first because the cost of everything increased, but my wife is a rabidly efficient shopper and cooker, so we've actually been able to maintain about the same household budget. Stuart Neal suggests, Spanners, that perhaps most of that weight is just the extra hair.
Yeah, I did. That is. I remember on Big Brother, on Channel 4's Big Brother, they had a challenge where they all had to cut parts of their body off to make up a certain amount of weight. So that was obviously like fingernails and hair and stuff. So like all the guys were just shaving their heads off. And I think it is not an insignificant amount of weight. But it definitely doesn't account for what my scales are showing me, Matt. No, for sure. Most of that is like pizza related.
Yeah, we actually had pizza last night. But here's my problem now. This is a genuine dilemma. I've always had a taste for desserts. And in normal times, we never have snacks. The only snacks we have, I have mixed nuts, like mixed nuts. I'll have some mixed nuts after dinner.
Wait, Lyndon, did you just giggle because he said nuts? What is wrong with you?
I was looking at something on my phone. It was perfectly timed.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry for that childish interruption.
I'm glad I'm holding your attention that well.
No, he's lying. He's
Hey,
definitely giggling at nuts. That's what he's like. That's what he's
Makes
showing.
me want to go and buy some mixed nuts now. Do you go for Bombay mix? Have you ever tried Bombay mix? Don't get that. Just don't get it.
All right. I will take your word for it. We get the big tubs from Costco. But anyway, doesn't matter. Into the quarantine, the family has gone into stress baking. So we've regularly had cookies and this and that, and it's all horrible. But with the end of school, my daughter, who is 15 and now capable of doing things on her own, shockingly, not only capable of doing things, but she's actually getting a bit sassy. When we try to do something with the TV, she's like, oh, for goodness sake, just give me that. I will do it for you. Has decided to take up serious baking. So she's already made us a 3-layer lemon blueberry cake. Last week, she made lemon raspberry cupcakes with frosting. And now she's talking about making some kind of orange sandwich cook. I'm like, this is going to be the death of me as an adult. I'm going to wind up with diabetes by the time this thing is over with if she keeps it up.
Just this lunchtime, my 10-year-old made me pizza toast. Like I came in from a podcast this morning and waiting for me was toast. It was, he put on it some Spanish, what are those Spanish meats that you get in the flat packets? Like a type of flat sausage anyway. Slice of that, capers, anchovies, and then put mozzarella on top and got mum to melt the cheese and made that for me. So like proper pizza toast. But yeah, it's a dangerous trend. I still think that my bio description on my WhatsApp still stands, despite Tim's slating of me, in that I'm not particularly fat. I'm still in that zone. My aim for a while now has been to go back to not fat, where I was last year. And then
listen, at the end of the day, right, the camera adds £10. So don't beat yourself up.
And there's 2 cameras here.
I'm white today.
Yeah, there's 2 cameras here as well, pointing at me right now.
You've got 2 cameras?
Yeah. Yeah, of course
I only see one camera angle.
Yeah, you only see me that one, but then the live stream sees that one. There you go. Fancy. You've got camera envy. I like that. I'm glad. Someone there said, ouch, is he your friend Spanners? Matt, it's complicated. Matt Cook in the live chat asking me that. I don't know. I admire Tim in many, many ways. To be able to craft a genuine broadcast career with your obvious failings and lack of any kind of audio discipline is just something that I look to with awe and wonder.
I think people don't realise as well, if they've just joined us or haven't, we probably need to talk about the fact we have a little bit of a history, worked on a radio station together, and that's where we fell in love, and then text each other probably well. It used to be once a week, but now it's down to once a month.
No, it's down to when I need you. That's it.
Or when I put a notification up that I had 5,000 subscribers, and then you're like, oh hi, do you want to come on my show? Maybe you could plug Remain Indoors maybe on it. I don't know.
Well, we had one of those awkward local radio handover slots. So what your show would be finishing, and then I would come into your studio there, and we go, so hey, what's coming up on the thing? And like we didn't mesh.
It's such a cringe.
Yeah, we didn't mesh initially either because we've got very different. I'm funny and entertaining. You've got your style, so there was a bit of a clash.
You see, that's what relationship is all about.
Yeah.
I'll give you some, you give me some, and then that's what it's about. It's love-hate.
But we never got to that
Mostly
point.
hate.
I think if we'd have done that and we'd both been 25, we'd have like socialized and probably become friends. But because we're like late 30s and parents. All we can ever really do. We ain't got
time for that.
Yeah, we can make vague plans to somehow have a pint somewhat time, but it was impossible. So now we've just got a relationship where if I can use you for something, like some airtime, then I'll get in contact with you.
Yeah, and it's funny, when I asked you for some advice on Patreon, you'll be like, oh, I'm busy.
I gave you that advice. I replied. Oh, no, but it was...
You were very cold with the reply, Spanners. I mean, it was harsh. Least we forget, if anyone knows Spanners personally, he doesn't do phone calls for one. You still don't get that.
No.
He does all these video stuff, but he doesn't do phone calls. People only message, and messages you can take in so many different ways, and yours are cold-hearted, dude.
I'm not a communicator when it comes to those kind of things. I don't like phone calls, Tim, because they're needy. You leave me a WhatsApp voice note.
That's a ridiculous thing to say. How can phone calls... Right, I tell you what, next time my wife rings me up, I'm going to say to you, look, from the advice of a very dear friend, you're being needy right now. Go away. Oh, I just need to tell you I've got not feeling very well. I can't come back right now. No, you're being needy.
When you're quite finished. If you send me a WhatsApp voice note, right, and then you want some advice, it's sitting there and I can respond to it in... You don't know when I've seen the message. You don't know when I could respond to it the second I see it, or I could leave it for some time. When you do a phone call, you're like making my world ring, ring, ring. I need that advice now. I need you to answer me this second and answer me in real time. It's needy and no one should do it.
Okay. By the way, I retract that, very dear friend, John. Thanks.
No, it's out there.
But what I mean is that if your children, right, your children, you gave them a phone, no doubt, to speak to you.
They send me WhatsApp. They send me WhatsApp messages. Honestly, they don't.
So you're not going to give them a phone if they ever get into trouble or they need to talk to their dad?
Yeah.
So you're going to go no.
If
WhatsApp
you're in
me.
trouble,
Phones.
yes.
Are you going to say to your children, phones are needy? You're being needy.
Right. Phones aren't needy. Phone calls are needy. If they're in an emergency, then yes, they're allowed to be needy. But if it's just like a casual question and that it needs to be answered at that second, I think phone calls are a massive imposition. You know, just send the message and I'll get to it when I can get to it. I don't understand why you were always so offended by that. you were like properly like, oh, it took you a day to answer. Yeah, but I answered.
I know, but you also work in radio, kind of. And radio, when you take phone calls, you've got to take phone calls. I know you can take text messages, but the show becomes a lot more enjoyable when you've got someone on the end of a phone. Right?
Oh, hang on. James Shelton, no. He said one word, voicemail. No, voicemails are the absolute worst. Trumpets, when WhatsApp voice notes exist, why would you leave a message on the thing where I have to call them up and I have to press buttons to... No voicemails.
It's not so much to call them up. It's the 33 minutes of explanation about what you're listening to before you can actually hear what was said. That is my biggest objection to voicemail. Otherwise, WhatsApp, voice note, voicemail are essentially the exact same thing.
Exactly, voicemail. Welcome to the such and such voicemail service. The time and the wind temperature are set. Just tell me the message. Yeah.
How can you get wind temperature?
I don't know. They're just waffling on. I'm not listening because all I'm doing is waiting for it to stop talking, and then I just press 3 or whatever the delete button is. I don't think I've listened to a voicemail that's been left to me this year. I'm not into it. Delete.
So okay, all right. Let's say, for example, your employer, okay, your part-time employer, your gardening employer, they call you up because they have to call you because they need to get your answer on something to do with either change of time, show change, or something important that's going on.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me you're not going to take the phone call because they're being needy?
No, but they have power over me because they employ me to do a thing. So that's different. You're just...
Well, that's hurtful. In other words, you're basically saying I don't want to hear from you if you call me. Charming.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to hear from even the boss. But they generally do email, so that's fine. I'm just saying I don't want to pick up the phone. Matt, you and I have had exactly 2 phone conversations in 7 years. And I like that. I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, well, I mean, for 99% of everything, text or WhatsApp is the best because not only can you read it when you're busy doing other things, but it's there so you can go back and find it when you've forgotten. Like, oh, there was an important thing. I think it was here. And then you can go back and be like, oh, yeah, that was yesterday and I should have been there. Oops.
Matt Trumpets at MattPT55. I was going to wrap it up there, if I'm honest. What you?
Well, I was just going to quickly say, Spanners, do you not call your own mum or your dad?
No.
You are an awful human being.
Wow.
Epic fail.
My mother, if she wants to speak to us over video call, to speak to the kids mainly, she has to arrange a time with me over WhatsApp, and we arrange it like an appointment.
You are very strange.
I don't mind it. Appointment phone calls I can get down with. It's just the impromptu, like, hey, I've got nothing to do, so I'm just going to assume that you've got nothing to do and can answer my query right now.
I will say I've been to the UK twice now over that time period. I've been to many people's houses. I've never even seen your neighborhood. So I think this might also be a bit of a you thing.
Okay, I don't invite people to my house. I never invite people to my house. Okay, obviously, there's sometimes.
I bet you don't even let people in your car. You got to give them a lift.
House.
I bet you just say get the bus.
Shed.
Tony came to my shed one time, and that was a mistake. It was awkward, and I didn't like it. No, I don't like people coming to my home.
I think you're just an awkward person, just generally. Spanners, this is what I'm getting from you.
No, but look, there's so many outdoor places to. I feel attacked here, by the way, but there's so many outdoor places and other places like you and me. Let's go hang out in a pub, or let's go to the park, or something like that, or watch a movie at the cinema. Why do you need to see where I sleep? Why do you want to come in?
Well, we're not asking to go into your bedroom.
You want to see the poop room? Is that what you want? You want to see where I poop? Like what? Why do you need to be in my house? I don't get it. There's so many better places outside.
How did you ever get married? How did you ever get into a relationship?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I wasn't always like this, but I'm like it now.
I have to say though, there is nothing. I hate when people just turn up to my house without, call in first or something.
Yeah.
That I don't like that. But yeah, just generally, I don't like people coming to my house. Is weird.
Yeah, a true story. I spent a whole day driving around with Brad. End up at Brad's house. My first trip over there. I know for a fact I'm within 15 minutes of where Spanners lives because I've seen them talk on WhatsApp. And I say, do you want to get together? I have a whole day free tomorrow. And his answer is, yes, I'll meet you in London, which was an hour train ride away. Yeah. This is the thing. Yeah.
See, Brad,
literally, I could have just been dropped off and we could have had a barbecue or gone to the local and had a few pints. But no, I will meet you in London as far away from my house as I can reasonably drag the rest of the family.
So Brad will swing by and have a pint near me, but he normally doesn't drink. So he'll come and pick me up and let me get drunk and then drop me off home. But even then, I don't really, I say, I'll meet you up at the top of the estate. He's like, well, I know where you live. I'll come and pick you up from your house. I'm like, no. I'll meet you at the top of the estate. Okay, I guess we need to do some diving into why. I just have that instinct of like, no, home is where we are, and everyone else can sort of bug off, and I'll meet them somewhere else. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Matt?
Yeah, you invite all these people into your shed. Why your shed, but not your home?
Matt,
I am. We don't normally have people over often, but before we had a child, I regularly had one of the most renowned parties of the year at my apartment. It was a Belgian beer party. We'd spend, $300 to $500. Well, probably about $500-600 on beer and food. And I'd invite all my musician friends over, and it would last, easily 12 hours. No, 12. Sometimes people slept over because they were too drunk to leave. But yeah, so I don't get it. You don't have parties, you don't invite people over. I mean,
yeah, no. Look, if it's a party, that is kind of different as well. So yes, we've had birthday parties and things, and that's kind of different. You set your house up to be a venue, so you're being, that place. I get it. I just don't like the casual okay, I'm just gonna come over now and just sit on your couch and watch TV with you, and you're like, but the couch is where I sit in my pants and dressing gown. I don't know. I don't know why everyone's making me feel weird about it. I've had enough. I'm going home. I'm already home. I'm going out of the shed at MattPT55. Follow him on Twitter. Me at Spanners Ready, the show at Indoors Remain. Tim, it's been great having you here in the shed. Can't wait.
Are you not going to talk about my Twitter?
Invite you back.
Or my YouTube channel. This is why I came on it, because I thought I'd get a few extra subscribers. Hello.
We spent the first 20 minutes talking only about your YouTube stuff.
No, you spent 20 minutes mocking it.
Didn't. So look, let's, I'm not saying leave it a while, but I'll get in touch, Q3,
I think
Q4.
It's a good idea to leave it for a while, yeah.
Q4, maybe Q1, 21. Yeah, at Tim Linden on
what?
On Twitter.
No, look, this is where you're going wrong as a presenter. You can't say things right. It's if you want to come follow me on Twitter, it's Walk With Me Tim. My YouTube channel is Walk With Me Tim. I'll put it in the description as well. And my Twitter handle is at Tim Linden.
Walk With Me Tim, where he exclusively asks people who are called Tim to have walks with him. And
no, I don't. Will you stop mocking it?
Watch two people called Tim. Watch two people called Tim walk around.
Oh, don't you miss being on the radio together and doing this and getting paid for it as well?
No, I don't. No, it's fine. I'm happy talking about petunias.
That's where the license fee goes, I tell you.
Sunday. Once I press this button here, it's too late. We're out of here. We're going. It's Tim Linden. Matt Trumpets. Walk with me, Tim. Until Thursday, work hard, be kind, and have fun. That's right, Tim, I've got a tagline. You haven't got a tagline. What's your tagline on your channel? Walk with me, other Tim. Do you say that at the end of every video? Do you just yell it? Walk with me, Tim. I think that's what you do at the end of every video.
Do you shout remain indoors?
Yes. You just heard me say remain indoors.
You need to change that. His awful bit of music production. Did you make that?
How dare you? That's Liam Taylor.
That bom, 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 bom. It just sounds a little bit amateurish.
I love it. It's great.
Oh, hang on. I didn't hear the car.
That's because I was talking over it. I was ducking.
All I could hear is the bom, bom, bom.
I don't want to play any of the other music now in case you call it amateurish.
What else have you got?
Call in.
Oh my God, no. Literally, no. I can't believe the BBC let you play that. I really can't.
That's my wife. That's my wife. That's my wife.
What is?
That?
No, but the production.
That's my wife's band.
No, but what the production is, having that on radio is a no.
Why?
Fine, sing it in a pub, but not on the blooming radio.
It's brilliant. Everyone likes it.
And actually, all that methodology of turn your phone on. Who doesn't have their phone on nowadays? Your phone is always on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a garbage song.
It's not like people listen to that and go, Gemma, turn the phone on. It's on the radio. No, just turn the phone on.
Yeah, yes.
Am I right?
Keep digging. I think it's a 20-year-old song now, actually. So yeah.
Do you still play that? Do you still play it on the radio?
No, I should have done. No, they've tightened up what people can play, so I can't do it.
I've got it. I've got it. You know what you should do with the gardening thing?
Slag off your wife.
Get your wife to record it, and she can go, get your shovel in, or get your spade out. Get your spade out. I love it. I love coming on here. Do you enjoy me on here, Matt, as well?
Oh, yeah. It's loads of fun. I love the dynamic because sometimes I can team up with Spanners against you, and then sometimes I can team up with you against Spanners, and I just enjoy the general chaos that's seeded.
I just want you, next time you come back, to have your projects have sort of generally failed and for you to have had decreasing success. So no, wait.
You're a hate liker.
It sounds unreasonable, but in my defense, that is easier than me rising up to your level. It's easier just to hope that you come down below mine.
Okay, and in all fairness, if you didn't go on at me, I wouldn't go on at you, darling.
That's not true. You body shamed me. You slagged off my wife's singing.
No, but you started with the whole walk with me, Tim. You're mocking me. You're mocking my channel. Remain indoors.
I think at least a comma. That's all. Like, walk with me, Tim. Yeah, maybe. Anyway,
you can't put a comma on YouTube. How's anyone going to find that? I'm not going to go, yeah, my YouTube channel is walk with me, comma, Tim.
The chat room, Matt, the chat room are hating this. Matt Cook says, worst show so far. Beth says, Tim's not welcome back. So, yeah.
Who says I'm not welcome back?
This chat room, that's what they're saying. Yeah, Mike says, worst show yet.
Reading is not Spanner's forte, and actually,
Mike says this.
You're not going to be back, and everyone's generally loving the bickering.
No, show's finished.
Mike says this is the best show yet. What does that say?
It means he's normally a subscriber to your walking around near a cliff.
Oh, see, you're doing it now.
He's dropped back into this, and he's gone, oh my God, there's an actual conversation and stuff like that. So, yeah.
You see, the thing is normally when Spanners gets a guest on, they are a guest. But how many guests do you get on that give you as much grief as what I do?
Just Lauren, actually.
There you go.
So there you go.
I'm not the only one.
So it's you and Lauren. Everyone else is